Welcome back to another TheJanticJournal video. As you can see, my foot, my ankle, my leg, everything gets super close to this front pulley as I'm riding it. And it gets a little bit sketchy, especially when you get the front tire off the ground in an accident and you come back down and you don't know where your feet are going to end up. So today what we're going to do is take care of that issue, make a totally enclosed area for the front pulley at least. And in my mind, I think I got it laid out already what I want to do. I'm going to cover the front one, but leave the back one a little bit exposed. Be a little bit easier, and I think it's going to look a little bit cooler. So this is the GTC torque-a-verter. As you guys can see, we've talked about it a little bit before. I got mixed feelings on it. It seems like a really quality piece. It's made in America, but we had a few issues we talked about in our other videos. It seems to be working now, but they're definitely a little bit of a hassle. They're not a direct replacement for an old Comet torque-a-verter, so just keep that in mind. These are the shields they sell with them. They don't come with them, but they sell them as a accessory. It's $30, I think, and it's just some thin plastic. This is pretty much the industry standard now, but with these they have little number 8 screws, 4 of them, here, and underneath, and it's just too hard to line them up. I tried. Honestly, I gave up. It seemed like more of a hassle than it was worth. And to service it, if I have to change the belt or mess with the pulleys, it just was way too tough. So I said forget it. This is actually Scott's. I'm not sure what route he's going to go. So what I'm going to do is totally make one from scratch out of some 14 gauge sheet metal I've had, which I've used for a few other projects. So as you can see, I already got a little bit of a head start on this. I have these 3/16 aluminum plates here, and the idea of those is that I can adapt from the small number 8 screws it had, and I'm going to end up using 1/4 inch hardware to mount the actual shield onto. Alright, just going to take this off, put it up on the bench. Figuring it's going to be a lot easier to work on it and fab this up when it's off the bike. Just, you know, it takes a few minutes to take it off, so to me it's worth the effort. Alright, so I got the trusty old 14 gauge sheet metal out. It's starting to look like a modern art project here around the edges, but anyways, so what I'm going to do is take a strip of it, cut out a 3-inch wide strip. I figure 3 inches is how much width I need to get off and cover the belts and pulleys and everything. So I'm going to cut a 3-inch strip. Now I'm going to make the start here, come all the way around, and then it'll probably only come down to about here. So I'm only going to have 3 bolts. If I catch the 4th one, it's going to just make lining it up that much harder. So to know how long it is, I'm going to use this old lawnmower belt, and it should work out pretty good. So I'm going to take this belt, put a little mark on it, just for the Sharpie right there. That's going to be the back of it. So I want it to start right about there, and then this doesn't need to be exact, but you know, we'll try to get close to the contour we're gonna get. And I'm thinking right about there. So I'm just gonna come over here, put a mark on this side, measure how long it is from mark to mark, and that'll be our strip that we need to cut 3 inches wide. Alright, got the piece cut out, didn't even hang the blade up, or the cutting wheel up once, which is pretty rare. So, clean this up a little bit, and then the tough part's going to be bending it. That's going to be the real make or break, so we'll see how that goes. Okay, so you can see the radius I need to bend. I need to bend about a, well, it looks like, what is it, about a 3-inch radius or so? Yep, looks like exactly. Got to bend an exact 3-inch radius. So, this is all I got to bend. You can see me doing it before. I forget what on, but I've used this. Oh, I think when I did my chain guard maybe. But anyways, this is what I'm using. It's what I used before. It's just a piece of 2.5-inch stainless steel exhaust. I got it spaced off 3/16 off of the table and just clamped on. And here's a piece, it's only 14 gauge, so it's going to bend easy. The issue is going to be to get the contour I want, not kink it, get a nice consistent radius on it. So yeah, I just slide it in here and just pick up on it, and it's just going to be trial and error, you know. Definitely got to take my time. Alright, here it goes. So I'm thinking I'm going to want to start pretty much all the way at one end, since I didn't leave it extra long. I probably should have left it pretty long, but I kind of cut it exact where I want to be. So yeah, this bends real easy. I'm just probably moving it ½ inch or so at each time. I'm trying to choke up to not bend it in my hand and bend it actually around the mandrel here. So yeah, I'm just going a little bit, and then checking it and seeing where it ends up. It's nice clamping it on here because you can tell if you're bending it straight, you know, so you're not coming off on an angle. You can just use the edge of the table as your square. Alright, let's see how that looks. Looks like it's starting to get there a little bit. It's definitely starting to get the radius. It needs to come in a little more. But yeah, so far so good. Alright, I got the piece where I'm happy now. Happy enough anyways. It's looking pretty good. I mean, it's not 100%. It's not exactly, but you know, I want the bottom to be just about there where it starts to change. And then the top, you can see that needs to close up a little, but that's fine. I don't want to keep bending it too much and then kind of kink it or mess it up. You know, it's only 14 gauge, so when I screw it into this aluminum plate, I'm going to let that suck it into its final shape. And you know, also check this out. I'm pretty happy with this. If you get down and look at it, you know, there's no daylight under there. So it bent directly straight. It didn't walk off to one side or another, so that should make it a lot better for mounting it up on here. You know, it's going to be definitely all the way on all three of them. So this is what I'm dealing with for now. I got to drill the holes on both of them. I'm going to probably drill and tap these. I don't think I'm going to put nuts under there. So I'll drill and tap those, and I'll drill them up here. And then, yeah, so what I'm going to do is I'm not going to do any more bends. I'll let that come into its shape when I bolt it on here, and then I'll put this side plate on, and that side plate will definitely lock it into shape exactly where it needs to be. We got Joey coming down here taking a break from video games. Yep, see, I'm actually down here being productive. But
I don't believe in that kind.
Okay, so I've got the hole marked out here. Now, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to tap these for a 1/4-20 tap. I drilled out one hole, as you just saw in the shroud itself. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to start on the bottom hole. Just do the if you're looking at it, if it's on the motor, it's like that. So I'm going to start on the bottom hole, which I already have here. And I'm going to go ahead and drill this out to, I think it was 13/64, I think, for a 1/4 inch tap. So I'm going to go ahead and drill that, tap that, screw this on, and then see where everything else wants to line up before I drill the next holes. Man, this is probably one of my least favorite things. It's only aluminum, so it's not too bad, but I don't know, I hate tapping. It seems like I always have bad luck with it. It's just all about getting it straight the first time. Okay, so here's what I ended up with. I got that bottom bolt caught. Little issue, not really an issue, but I need to take these screws that I have here, and I need to, so you can see them right there, I need to make them countersunk. So I'll have to buy new screws. I tried to space it out with a lock washer, but not really working out. But that's alright, it's going to be fine for mocking it up tonight. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to just have this end meet up exactly where it should, and that's where I'm going to start my measurements from. I'm just going to go right off of there and drill the holes. So so far so good. Alright, so this is what we got. I got all three of the holes bolted up. I'm going to get some better hardware. I just found the ones I had kicking around. But it looks pretty good. Looks like it's going to contour that pulley well. So it's actually upside down, but it's going to look something like that. So now all I need to do is come up with the side piece. So like right now if I unbolt this, it's a little bit sprung and it wants to open up. But I figure once I weld this side piece on, then it's going to be exactly how it needs to be, and should be hopefully not too hard to get on and off. Alright, so this is what I came up for a design. You can see the outline of it. I laid it right down on there, took an outline, and then just, I don't know, I came up with this little bit of a design. I used some like old tape rolls just for the to get those radiuses. You know, I think it'll look better than if I just went from like right where it ends just straight up. So I don't know, trying to incorporate a little bit of style into it. It's looking pretty good. Cut the piece out, you can see right here. Use the air tool. The angle grinder is just too big of a wheel to get in there, so to try to cut the radiuses, I ended up using the air tool. But yeah, it's looking pretty good. I'm gonna probably tack it right up. You can see there's a little, you know, little bit of inconsistencies, and it looks like I'm gonna have to grind off a little bit up here, but that's fine. That's fine. I'd rather have to grind a little than have it be too small. So yeah, it's looking pretty darn good. I'm gonna go ahead and tack this thing up, and pretty excited about it. Alright, got it welded up. I did a bead all the way around. It's looking pretty bad, but you know, it's just like a butt weld, so I'm not sure what happened there. I must have had it too far away. Got a little bit of air in the weld. Alright, here we go. This is pretty much the completed project. I went ahead and used the angle grinder with a 120 grit wheel and just went around the edge. It's looking not too bad. Well, this is it, the big unveil. As you can see, there's something that wasn't covered in the build at all, and there'd be that big hole right there. Now, I could lie to you guys and tell you that's there for cooling purposes, but that's definitely not the primary role. What it was I didn't give myself enough room. I probably needed to go about a 1/4 inch thicker, wider rather, just to account for that bolt head right there, but I didn't. So I figured the easiest way to fix it would be to just drill that hole out. It's like a 2.5 inch hole. I think it looks pretty good actually, and it will keep a little bit of the, it'll keep the temperature down a little bit. So it's got a little bit of function. So yeah, I'm pretty happy with how that turned out. 14 gauge sheet metal, it's not too hard to work with. It's thick enough that you can weld it without worrying about burning through. And it's also thin enough that you can still bend it, but thick enough that you won't just crease it easily. But yeah, we got all four bikes here. This one here, we're still not sure what to do with it. I'm not sure if I'm going to throw my motor from last year or if our other buddy's going to take care of it. Scott's is really close to getting done. He's going to come over tomorrow, and hopefully we'll put that air filter adapter on there and get that thing totally done. You've seen my bike, what's going on with that. Pretty much it's good to go. But yeah, more to come for sure. Definitely more riding videos. Maybe even a jump or two. We'll see. We'll see what we get into here. But more to come. Stay tuned. Catch you guys next time in the Jantic Journal.